What I want to do this morning is to set out, I think for the first time, in a comprehensive way, how we, the Lib Dems, would deal with the aftermath of the credit crunch and the recession, and set out the 4 pillars of policy that will appear in our manifesto. One of them is a credible plan for dealing with the deficit, then sorting out and breaking up the banks, building a sustained recovery, not just short-term growth, and creating a fairer tax system. And I think it's fair to say the Liberal Democrats are the only major party committed to genuine and far-reaching economic reform along these lines. Deficit reduction has got to come primarily through spending cuts, though there is a role for taxation, and one specific tax measure we discussed is that until the banks are broken up, they should be paying a premium for the insurance, the guarantees that they currently enjoy against third-party risk from the taxpayer. And it is possible to run the public sector more efficiently, though I don't pretend for a moment that this is at all easy. Nor is it honest to say that some governments' budgets, like the NHS, should be ring-fenced from cuts, because if you take that view, as the government and the Tories are doing, what you're doing is condemning other government departments to really deeply damaging cuts. And what is needed, in our view, is a calm, rational approach to this, a proactive rather than a reactive approach, identifying the steps that need to be done to reduce government spending. And we have made a start by putting on hold many of our previous spending commitments, and the Lib Dems had a very deep commitment to free personal care, generous citizens' pension, universal child benefit. They're undoubtedly popular ideas, and we've simply said that at the moment these are just not affordable. Taking the government's own benchmark spending, we have identified a whole series of things which we think ought to go. The list of things that I have summarised for you would find an additional net reduction of 10 billion over and above what the government has put forward in tax and spending changes. The British global banks that are too big to fail are too big to bail out, and they're a danger to the stability of the economy. And now President Obama has taken on the issue of breaking up the banks on his side of the pond, and it's time we do the same here. There is a consensus too that the bonus culture has to be curbed by restricting high-risk bonuses, though again rhetoric has run ahead of what's actually happened. And high-level remuneration has to be fully transparent, has to be, not the voluntary approach suggested in the Walker report. We do need a more varied ecology in banking, local banks, more mutuals, including credit unions, a banking arm for the post office to reach the financially excluded, specialised banks to support with long-term finance, new ventures. The second key role for the state is education. The third role of the state is in relation to capital investment in infrastructure in the widest sense. We suggest a radical but revenue-neutral tax package, the centrepiece of which is to lift the tax threshold to £10,000 a year. That will lift 3 to 4 million low earners, many of them women working part-time, but also pensioners, out of tax altogether. As I say, it's revenue neutral, it's got to be paid for, and we've suggested a series of means of doing that, with tax on high-value property, over 2 million, removing some of the tax avoidance opportunities that currently exist, plus some environmental taxation on aviation, and using the revenue to have this radical transformation of the tax picture for low earners. So to summarise, we don't believe it's possible to address the problem of an unsustainable budget deficit without parallel action to stimulate the economy, to rebalance the tax system, and eliminate the unfairness which is at its core. There are painful times ahead, but we believe the measures that I've set out will support economic recovery and also reduce much of the pain. I do understand the enormity of the challenge ahead, but the Liberal Democrats are ready for it. Thank you.